talk about sustainability, often they think about technology, emissions, electrification, biofuels. But sustainable business depends on trust, ethics, and everyday decisions that the companies make. Therefore, at Scania, sustainability is not only about reducing our environmental impact, it's also about how we conduct business, how risks are managed, and how our leaders are shaping culture. Today, in this conversation, we will explore how compliance, legal, and leadership decisions are protecting, strengthening, generate value for our business, and also inspired others, other companies, and other people to do the same thing. For that conversation, I have today here two special guests, direct from Sweden. They have spent some time here this week with us doing our Responsible Business Initiative. So I have here with me today Suzy Martinez. She's head of group compliance management at Scania Group. And I have also here with us now, Cecilia von Rhein. Cecilia is head of group legal and compliance at the Scania Group. Okay. Afterwards, we will have the titles in the video, so no problems. Let's start, girls. Thank you so much for being here with us. It's a pleasure. I will start with you, Susie, and I would like to listen your personal reflections and main takeaways from those 3 days that we had just had together.
Yeah, thank you, Patricia. I'm very happy to be here. So I think it's a fantastic event, which Brazil is organizing now 8 years in a row. And for me, this is really celebration of business ethics, right? Because we put very important topics on the agenda, and we do this together with the management and also with the employees. Very interesting topics. I think sometimes it's good to look outside of the box and see how the world looks around us, and then how can we make Scania an even stronger and better company within this area. For me, this is very much part of the sustainability journey. I think in order to achieve our goals, we would like to see the legal and compliance function to be an enabler to make better and informed decision in the group.
Great. And what about you, Cecilia?
Adding on a little bit to what you said, Susie, I think it's been super interesting. And what is also very impressive, of course, is the engagement both from management here in Brazil and as well from the employees. It's been a full audience and a lot of people on Teams as well listening in. Coming back to actually the topics that has been discussed, I think it's been a good focus and a good mix as well on day-to-day issues, but then also the broader perspective from the different speakers who have been brought in, kind of tying it from both the day-to-day to the helicopter perspective in what is important for us, which are what is on the radar from a compliance perspective currently, and also how can we work with it from a daily perspective.
Yes, I think the speeches, they had many things in common. They were kind of adding on the messages. But one thing that for me, was special is about accountability. Because sometimes we tend to put very far away the ethics and the manuals and the code of conduct, but it's hard to make, okay, it's about every day. In this sense, I would ask you, Suzy, starting from you, transparency and behavior. How do we take this to our everyday work? No matter where you are working at Scania, how can you relate yourself to this topic?
For me, it's pretty easy, right? I think it is a lot about company culture. I think we have an excellent framework in Scania by the Scania way, the core values, the management principles, and everybody has a responsibility to do within this framework. But I think it's also our responsibility to develop this together. So, I think we had a very good example this week that we had a full management commitment to these very important topics, and we had full house. That means that the employees are very interested in these topics. But really what makes a difference, the day-to-day business, right? So we need to do this. We need to do this together. We need to do it every day. We need to repeat it. And we need to rely on those expert functions who can help us to guide how to make those decisions in everyday life.
Great. And then also we had a topic here, very important one, which is the money laundry and also the crime coming very close to the business. That I think caught everybody attention, awareness. Here the contest, the environment of business is being challenged. And then Cecilia, from your side, being the legal department, how do you interact and you see risk or a need for our business perspective to look broader because it's not business as usual anymore, right?
No, and I think it's very much about awareness, not only from the expertise side, but also from every one of us who are working close and in the business. You need to be aware, need to be able to see and identify the situations and so to say bring them forward in a transparent way. And if you don't know, ask questions. That is what the experts are there for. But it's a lot of regulations which are forthcoming. It's a little bit of a different environment, especially if we focus in on what you just said, where the criminal activities are coming so close. And of course that is a larger risk. But I think what we can do as a company is to stand firm in our own core values and say, okay, we need to learn and need to listen and put the processes in place to help our employees to do the right thing.
And then helping our employees to do the right thing, I think is a good line. Just to complement, like, okay, but we are living in a reality, in a moment that everything is a lot of pressure, urgent decisions, conflict priorities. We also heard a little bit about that. Uh, some ways to learn, to teach us to have better decisions. How do you see you, Suzy, that we can, as leaders and employees overall, to be able to take better decisions in our activities?
Mhm. And actually, I would like to use the example which one of our speakers did, using how a pilot is flying a plane. We need to have a framework in place and we need to be knowledgeable about this framework. And I think it's the support functions, compliance, legal, and many other support functions enable us to do this practicing in a safe environment. Because when we are out there, I mean, a pilot doesn't go and start to fly a plane and then in the middle of an action, something happens, no time to look at the books, what the instruction book says. That you need to have with you. So I think that we have shared responsibility, which within the company, the management needs to ensure that we have the right tone from the top, the right commitment. The support functions needs to create the framework. So nobody needs to be an expertise on anti-money laundering outside of us responsible for a topic, but we need to put the rules in place. I would also say in a pragmatic and easy to do the right thing way. So we once again want to make sure that we enable people with their knowledge and expertise to conclude the right decisions every day. And when you are out there in the world, then you know how to act. And if something you are uncomfortable about, I think you don't need to know the details all the time, but something what feels good, bad, sometimes you need to listen to your gut feelings.
Gut feelings. And
as
they
well.
also are speaking to you.
Yes, as well. And then you contact the experts and we will help you to navigate there.
And if I may add, if I look at how we are working with some of our priorities, both safety and quality, it's a very systematic way of working that everyone is involved in from the bottom to the top and the way down again. And I think this is actually an area which we need to deal with in the same manner.
So to have the framework and they continue training and having the culture asking questions when you are not sure, thinking before you act. It's the same really. Yeah, but when we have our safety guides to have a good quality production, it's a good way to see it, make it easier, more tangible. That's also something that we try to do with these dialogues that we bring inside Scania from outside so we can improve as a company.
And also, I think not seeing it as a separate topic, because it's part of our daily environment for all of us. It's part of the business that we're doing. So we need to deal with it in the same manner, even though it's a new and might even be a bit scary if I look at what was presented during the speeches.
Okay. And then also during the speeches, we had a very interesting panel about conflict of interest. And I would like to ask you both, starting with you, Susie, uh, what are the main challenges when it comes to Scania to really give the right awareness to, in this case, in protect the brand and our values when we look at the world, and in this case, the conflict of interest that we saw from the speaker that can happen. I mean, it's human, having the bias. And then I would like to listen you a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think the main challenge, I mean, it can have different dimensions, right? Maybe, and conflict of interest have always two angles, right? Conflict of interest in context of a Scania employee and an external relationship outside of Scania, but we actually can have conflict of interest within Scania as well. And sometimes lack of awareness is creating misjudgments, is creating perhaps wrong decisions in the organization. And I think is what is very, very important that we are transparent about and we have an open conversation with our managers and we follow up these conversations regularly. And sometimes people are also perhaps afraid to disclose a conflict of interest. What will happen to me? And I would turn it around. Nothing will happen to you, but if you do not disclose it, that might have consequences. We have a framework in place. We regulate the conflict of interest in the code of conduct, and we have also a dedicated Scania group policy, which is talking about this topic. And then, of course, we have the support functions. We have the compliance functions. We also have the people and culture teams who can help the assessment of these situations.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Do you, Cecilia, for yourself, doing the dialogue about conflict of interest, what do you think is the main point that we need to address so we also are aware of how uh, to, to act and react when we have these cases? But do you have any insights on how we can prevail, really being conscious about it?
I think it's the transparency again and having the dialogue. And there I really believe that we have a culture which supports this. And remember to ask the question and to reflect a bit on the other assignments that you may be thinking about accepting and talk to somebody about it.
Great, great. Connecting with our Scania values, we had a speech about integrity within the context of diversity and inclusion. And of course, we have respect as one of our fundamental values and principles and so on. But we are global company. We are present in different locations with different realities. What do you think from our also speaker this morning? What do you think would be a good takeaway for our business when it comes to integrity, connection with diversity and inclusion?
I think that all of these key words actually connect with each other. Diversity and inclusion, conflict of interest, unconscious bias, nepotism, and so on. So I think I think it's very important to know these basic principles. I think we have very good core values. We have the house. And if we always think in the concept of that, every situation is different, but the ground is always the same. We operate in 130 countries in the Scania Group, so cultures are very different across the globe. But I think what connects all of us is the Scania way of doing this. So actually, when we are going around the world, we recognize Scania. So Scania always looks Scania wherever you go. And I think that is something very, very, very strong, and we need to take care of it.
And it's not only about the logo type.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
And but that is something that I really appreciated as well. When you go around and you meet people within the Scania group, the foundation is there. It's common. Our core values are very strong wherever you come. And I think we stand strong in that. That would help us in all of these discussions
Mm.
because then we have both the transparency, but also the safe environment to be able to speak up and say something about what we see and what we are wondering about.
I thought that was interesting that we had one of our guests here speaking that many times you have the framework, but you are challenged with the enforcement. And I think that's an important topic when also we look at the company, and that's why we need everybody to be aware and active on that. Do you think, culturally speaking, many things are changing, new policies are coming. How do you see, starting for you, Susie, the enforcement that we have at Scania for those lines of creating integrity, w- not creating, but strengthening and having integrity in the company? Do you think our enforcement has been good enough for what we have?
I think I will use another one of the words saying continuous improvement.
Yes.
There is always more that can be done. And I think it's also, especially here, it's a continuous dialogue.
Okay.
In some areas, we are very strong. In other areas, there may have been focus for a while, and then we need to pick it up again.
Mhm.
And that is why I think events like this week are so important. You get both a breadth or a wide variety of questions which are being discussed, and you raise the awareness again. And we definitely see that when we go out and speak to our employees that, oh, I remember we had that discussion. And when we sit this year, we think about what we did the last time. So I think having the continuous dialogue for me, it's the most important thing to actually have the message. Yes.
Because then you have consistency, right? Do you have any thoughts about it?
Yeah, I think that I tell my team every day that we are in a journey. So we are developing. We came 9 years ago when I started to build up this function. We were in another situation as we are today. I think improvements are always necessary, and I think that is what keeps the development of a certain topic live. I think right from me is also something very important because both as an employee and when I act as a manager, and of course a very clear communication that this is our framework and it's very important to be within this framework. Otherwise, there will be consequences of not doing so. And I think during this journey, I very clearly see that we are strengthening this. I mean, we have a good established whistleblowing process. We can see the developments of the statistics of the system, so to say, which means that employees are getting more and more trust in the system, the team who is working with these topics. But it is a journey, and as every other area in Scania, we have improvement opportunities going forward.
Great, great. I think it also connects with what we also heard, that the more and more we have, who we are is direct connect to how we do things, right? So I think this is, for me, integrity as personal integrity. How do you bring that to the company? And of course, when you see a Scania, you say, I want to work there because of the values or how they treat people. It matches with my own values, a set of principles. So this is super important. And then just for our closing this conversation, I'd like to ask you, and starting with you, Cecilia, what would be your takeaway if we could talk to a broader audience when it comes to our people? What do you think we should keep it for ourselves and remember every day from this responsible business week?
That I make a difference and that you make a difference. It's our choices and our behaviors every day that drives the company forward as well. And I think also in this area, in the compliance area, we do make a difference, even though it might feel a bit lots of rules or frameworks, but it's the choices that we do every day. So having that in mind, I think, to me is important.
And it's great because it's about belonging. Belonging, and so you're taking part, so you make difference. That's
Yes.
super nice. And what about you, Susie? What are you taking home? And to the broader audience, what would you say that is super important?
I fully agree, of course, what you said, Cecilia. I think we also need to embrace that we work for a company who actually makes this possible. We have a commitment. I mean, sustainability is our purpose, right? Business ethics and compliance is an integrated part of it. So we have the opportunity, but at the same time, we are all responsible to do this every day and repeat.
One thing that I really like it doing these events that we had our manager director from Brazil, Eronildo, he had a speech and I loved when he closed said, I'm committed. It's so simple, right? It's a word, but it's so strong. And seeing him in this stage, I'm committed, really open to say that with vulnerability, with strength, just putting outside, publicly say, I'm super committed to that every day. So those things that we don't expect, they also make difference. So it's super nice. Thank you. Anything to add on a special comment?
No, but yes, actually, on what you just said, and also the previous question on integrity, I think that support and that commitment is also giving something to all of our employees to be able to stand up in this discussion when there are harder decisions to take. I know that I have the company and the management behind me, so then I can be committed and I can dare to make the right choices as well. So I agree. I thought it was a super statement.
I love it. I still give me the, like,
Yes.
okay, that's because it's like you're in the spotlight. People expect, of course, this is my role. This is I need to do that's my work every day. But really putting out, you give space also for others to say, I'm backing up and I can do the same, be
Yeah.
committed. Great. Okay, so see you next year, maybe. We keep following this journey, as you mentioned. You share with your team that is a journey, and I think we should also share with our audience that is a journey. But it makes you make difference. We do make difference every day. Consistency. If you have a question, if you have doubts, please raise your hand. Stop, think, and then act upon whatever you are dealing in your everyday business. Okay? Thank you, Zuzi, and thank you so much, Cecilia. That was a great pleasure to have this conversation. And we hope you also have enjoyed this conversation that shows clearly that Scania goes beyond transport solution. We are committed to operating responsibility every day in our activities.